but this is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Alright guys, so for the past 2 years, it's no secret that I've been attempting to build my dream shop truck. If you're new to the channel, this is my 66 F100 that I have slammed onto the chassis of a 2008 Crown Vic, and if that wasn't challenging enough, I also decided to LS swap it, throw in a cam, and some other stuff. Now, I've been building this truck for 2 years, but the past 7 months, I've been on a little hiatus from YouTube. Let me just spill it real quick in the next 15 to 20 seconds. Why I've been gone. In that time, I have interviewed, got a new job at work, transitioned to that new job at work after Hurricane Helene, extending that transition for another 3 or 4 months. Did I mention Hurricane Helene? The worst hurricane that our town or city has ever heard. If you guys didn't know, I was a lineman and it obliterated our electric system. Probably had over 200 broke poles. I didn't have power here at my house for almost a week. We worked 16 to 20 hour shifts for almost 2 weeks straight. And on top of that, off-season and in-season wrestling tournaments completely revamped my garage, all while me and my wife helping teach my daughter how to drive. So, the past 7 months that I've been away, I've been spending time with my wife and kids, transitioned to a new position at my job, dealt with Hurricane Helene and trees falling everywhere. So, having said all that, I hope you guys enjoy the video, which is basically 7 months of time, me jumping in here and there and trying my best to tackle project after project after project after project. If you guys would do me a huge favor and let me know that you don't hate me because of this hiatus, and you can do that by smashing the like button and just watching the video, maybe sharing it with a friend. But I'll see you guys after the video. Hope you guys enjoy. So, some more life advice, shop advice, project advice from Dusty Mac is, however long you think something's going to take, it's going to take 5 times longer. Check out the wiring. The wiring conundrum. I don't even know if that word fits right here. Yeah. So originally I was going to use the Crown Vic air and heat. So what I think is the easiest approach, and I didn't like how low all the stuff sat in here, honestly, but I was willing to make it work. But here's the issue. Now that that's clean, I'd like to get like a, I think it's called a vintage in-cabin. It's like an air and heat, if I'm not mistaken. Mounts clean, like one little section up under the dash. That'll be long term. Initially, we got the good old school AC 55 and cruising. So yeah, but now I got to tackle figuring out what wires I need to keep, what wires I don't need to keep. I hate wiring like this, automotive wiring. So yeah, this is another one of the little small little things. It's like, oh, I labeled everything, won't take long when putting it back. It got me again. So the good thing is my wiring harness for the motor is standalone. So as far as that goes, I've did that before, made my own little fuse panel and give it the voltage it needs. My old 240SX that I had, I manually wired up, brake lights, turn signals. So bare bones, the motor will get running. We're just gonna have to sort out brake lights, tail lights, and all that jazz. If I wind up just going in here and hacking, cutting out all this junk, because I want it to be simple. I want it to be, if I have a problem, it's simple to troubleshoot. And I just don't know, yeah. You guys see all that?
One eternity later.
So tell them what we're doing.
Right. Be cut out.
After you chew.
Might as well finish the whole thing then.
No.
We used paper templates to make these metal ones, cut them out, grinded them, smoothed them out, made sure they were good. Now we're putting holes in them so that way when we can put them in the front of the truck, we can spot weld the holes and make sure they're placed.
So a little to add with that is I stripped out all the wiring, stripped out the AC box, the heater core, all that. I didn't like how low it hung onto the dash. A lot of guys keep that when they use the factory Crown Vic dash inside the cab. I didn't want to do that. I wanted the old school dash. Didn't like how low it hung. So later on we'll get like a vintage air low profile one, but we cut out the sections. So we'll have a plug here. We'll have a section that plugs there. That's the old computer where the stuff passed through the firewall. There was no reason for me to go through, since I wasn't using all the accessories, the power switches and automatic windows and all that. It was just simpler for me to make a standalone harness for the body that will go with the standalone harness for the ECU, because I need like headlights, brake lights, turn signals, OBD2 port power, and maybe a USB power in the inside. Just a few things. And I stretched out the harness. I didn't film it. And I was sitting there going through how long it would take me to trace and get rid of all the wires that I didn't need. And I was like, no, we're not doing all that. We're not doing all that. I want it to be simple, but effective.
The next day.
All right, so check her out. But we got the patches, rosette or plug welded in. My son went back and ground the welds down just a little bit. We might clean those up just a little bit more, but the whole firewall after we seam seal is gonna get a wrinkle black finish. It's gonna look nice. Also, not sure if I told you guys, but took that big section that was in here out, got rid of all the unnecessary safety features for the Crown Vic fuel pump. And then once we get that situated, we can take this bed off and we can cap off the last little section in the back of the cab. But we tired, we hungry, ready to go eat. So we finna say peace out to the truck for today. Peace out.
Hands is dirty. Work's done. Call it a day.
2,000 years later.
What is up, guys? As you can see, I've already painted the firewall, and me and my son also patched where we removed the AC, the heater coil, and all that. Took all the wiring and stuff out of the dash. So yeah, we're jumping right back into work. Got a lot to update you guys on. So where are we at? We got a bunch of parts. So let me show you guys what we got. Bam. Got a variety of colors of wiring. We got terminals. We got shrink sleeves. Got a battery kill switch. We got these. Basically, these are bulkhead fittings, I think they call it. Drill a hole in your firewall, and this insulates it, but it allows you to have a connection on both sides. More terminals. This is the adapter for the flex plate. We got our own fuse block. Comes with a variety of fuses. We got our AN fittings
our AN line. Got some more. I think this is 10 gauge wiring. And we got a switch panel. Got a USB charger. Another 12 volt input. And then the LED lights cut on this thing. And it has inline fuses already. What else? We got to get the throttle pedal from the Chevrolet mounted. We have a completely new wiring harness. We'll have to get that on the engine. We have flex plate bolts. And so I guess the first place to start is we got to get the flex plate. We got to get the flex plate bolted to the rear of the motor. Then we can get the adapter on. Then we can get the transmission bolted back up. And then we can get it back in the truck for the first time. So I guess that's where I'm going to start.
Just do it!
Did a dry test run on it. See where they're bolted up. Did not want to get this all the way into the truck and then realize I needed to take the transmission back off, flex plate back off to elongate the hole some more. So I wanted to make sure that fit before proceeding. So now let's get on with the regular.
Do it!
Adapter and flex plate, install transmission. Now we need to install the motor and the trans. Did I mention that it's a little hot out here? Oh, suck it up, it'll be all right. That's right. Alright, so when you're under here by yourself and the engine's pretty much in position, but you need to get your holes lined up. Not sure if y'all can see the holes, and you can't get the engine to slide back anymore because you're by yourself. You get some ratchet straps. Ratchet strap the block to the trans tunnel, block to the trans tunnel, and just like that, motor and trans is in, motor mounts bolted up, transmission's bolted up. Now we can get a rough estimate on the length that we need for the AN fittings on our fuel line. Another thing that we need to do is mount a battery tray, and then we can start running some wire. Basically getting the battery tray mounted will be the start, and then everything else can go around that.
I'm wanting to mount the battery somewhere against the firewall right here. Here's the problem. Trying to make sure that my hood hinges don't hit it, my fenders, and trying to hold it up there and see where exactly I need it. And I don't know if you guys know, but a friggin' battery is heavy, son. So what I was struggling with was being able to get it where I need it, but then mark it. You ain't doing all that while holding a battery. At least if you are, you working out a whole lot more than I am. And I've been hitting the gym pretty hard. Apparently not hard enough.
That's what she said.
So what did I do? I decided to make a fake battery that is so light. It's basically the same width or the same length, the same width roughly, but this will let me be able to hold it in place and see what I got without breaking my back. And like I said, I made this slightly like a tight fit, and then voila, I can hold that with one hand all day long. So now I can get in here and see exactly where I need to mount this. I like that. I like that. Yeah, my back was breaking off, so this is one of them things I didn't think that mounting the battery tray would take this long, but it's one of them things that you don't really think about. It just takes the time it takes. Cut out here that I will drill 2 holes here, and then once this is mounted, I will put a reinforcement and tie it into the chassis where it's got some strength. So let's get all that cracking. Same day still getting after it. Here's what I got so far. I'm not sure how much of it I filmed, but I'm trying to get work done, so I'm not doing the normal filming. Check it out. Battery tray, bam. Right now it's just held in place. Got a hole, bolt, and the tab. Got the tab bent over with the shape of the frame. And that bar right there is more than enough strength with that angle iron to hold that battery up. I'm going. Been very tempting. It's been very tempting to veer off of my list. I'm trying to stay on task and get one project completed and then go to the next one. I think I've done a pretty good job of that so far today, but I just pulled the welder out. Now I'm gonna get that tacked in place.
A few moments later.
The battery tray is basically mounted, but it's very, very, very solid. But yeah, where I was going with that is we can now scratch that off the list. And I still have room below here to drill holes for my wiring harness. And yeah, I'm just kind of brainstorming how I want to run some stuff. This will be my power wire going to the back of the alternator, which will sit somewhere in here. Got power that will be going to the starter. I'll have to shorten this wire up a little bit, decide how I want to run it. But basically, checking in to tell you that I'm whooped for today. New day. And I am drilling through these firewall posts. I'm gonna go there. We won't have to have a battery or a hot terminal running through the firewall, because put the nut on the back side and that will be hot right there. We did the firewall post for the positive and the negative terminals. We have not drilled a hole for the wiring harness yet, but I'll show you what we've done so far. From the battery, we got power to the firewall post. That sends power to the alternator over here. And that terminal also sends power down to the starter. And then this is the wire that will send signal to the starter for it to work. Then we got the negative side of the battery going to the Firewall, and it's grounded to the chassis. We'll have a few more grounds. One will go from the engine block to the chassis, and one might even go from this post straight to the chassis. And then in the wiring harness itself for the engine, there's multiple spots that go to the engine as well as the chassis. So grounding this thing ain't gonna be a problem. It's gonna have plenty of grounds. Got the alternator and power steering mocked up. I will take this off. We'll clean this up, wire wheel it, get it looking a little better. Got the header on so we can know where we needed to run our wiring for the starter. No clearance issues there. And then I think I already showed this, but we got the AN lines made up, ran to the fuel rail over here. They're P-clamped on. So we're heading in the right direction. But that's all for today. So we'll catch you guys in the next clip.
One eternity later.
So today's project is, I unbolted the fuel cell, but I got this square tubing, the fuel cell mounts, this square tubing, the bed mounts. I need to get the surface rust off of those because all those was nice and shiny new metal tubing, but just the rain that's come in from the outside of the carport. Anyways, I want to get all that surface rust off and then coat it with some Rust-Oleum primer. Even though the truck is patinaed, I don't want that to get out of hand. So yeah, we'll get that taken care of. Alright, so I'm out here today trying to knock out some progress on the truck. What I've done so far is I've got the power steering lines, the adapter that went to the Crown Vic steering rack, basically plumbed up to the power steering pump itself, and now I've been clearancing to get this radiator to fit. And what I've had to do is Crown Vic had the radiator mounted, the bottom of this bushing mounted flat to that, and I needed this to sit up higher, that way the bottom of the radiator wouldn't be hanging too low under the truck. So I'm going to clearance a little bit more there, but long story short, you can see the distance I have between the end of the water pump pulley and that, so it's going to be plenty, but I've been working through that. And also working through it on the bottom. As you can see now, once I have a front bumper on here, so it doesn't hang too low under the truck. And I also have to modify the bracket over there that bolts on to the bottom and has the rubber bushings in it. See the rubber bushings? This thing mounts up under here. Basically, I'm going to have to shorten it by 2 inches on both sides, and then I'll have to adapt these brackets. I'll have to cut it and raise that bottom part up 2 inches. And then how it works is this little clamp clamps down in that hole and then bolts in the front. Alright, so modifying the bottom radiator mount. Done cut exactly 2 inches out. Brought them back together. Putting some welds on it now. We'll do that side. You can see that side's wider, shorter. Alright, got the piece modified. Got some C-clamps holding it in place. So I'll show you guys what we got. So there it is. But now you can see these little spacers. We can pull those out, and then I can get in here and cut this, raise this up. Cut that, raise it up. I could have easily took that shroud and that fan off, but it's one big fan with a shroud already made in it. That's what came on the Crown Vic. It's pretty powerful. I tested it to make sure it still worked. So no use broken what ain't fixed.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That's true.
I butchered that. No use fixing what ain't broke. Now I got to cut those and then extend those brackets where it mounts. Basically, and assembly and all mounted. And what I'm working on now is getting the steering wheel mounted and clearancing what I need to get it where I need to be, but also making sure that I don't have it in a bind. And you can see I need this back to come down a little, and the front's got to go up just a tad. I got to trim out just a little bit more, and making sure that you can see between the frame rail and the steering shaft itself. I got plenty of room. I had to move this brake line out of the way, but that's good now. And yeah, that's just the difference between in the car, the dash, you know, set lower. So now I'm having to modify it to get the steering column up to where it mounts almost flush with the bottom of the dash. So yeah, we'll keep cranking away at this little by little. Say that's good at shaking the whole truck. Steering wheel's mounted, probably just showed y'all that. Now, we can't, there's no reason to be able to steer it unless we can make it go. And to make it go, we got to have the gas pedal mounted. Now, the gas pedal for this the gas pedal for this LS setup is a LS pedal, and the controller for it this is the box. This is the pedal. Now, see if I can show you guys what we're gonna have to do. Is we gotta get this pedal. That's where the old one came out. 1, 2, 3 holes. this one, it's got to go up in here somewhere. But then we also have to watch out our clearance for the mounts that I built to hold the steering column. But I'm thinking if I drill a hole as that moves back, I think this right here, this hitting, I think as it moves back, it'll clear that right there. So I've already marked a hole in black magic marker right there. And I'm gonna go drill that out and then see how it fits as we push it back. I'm not super concerned with where the pedal ends up because I can cut this, flip it, bend it to get the pedal position exactly where I want it in relation to the brake pedal. Alright, so pedal is in. Bolt there and another bolt there. So it can move, but as you can see, sound deadening, whatever this is called, insulation, is blocking it. But it's also a good ways away from this. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is come in here and cut somewhere, potentially rebend this so that that pedal sits somewhere right in here. So check the pedal out I got modified right here. Alright, so obviously we ain't got no seat. That's a lot of stuff we ain't got. But check this out. Imagine a seat is here, okay? Steering wheel is mounted, it is secure, it will shake the whole entire truck. Gas pedal is mounted and modified so that it sits, and you all know if you're driving an automatic, you're sitting back, you gotta have the correct ratio to go from brake to gas without moving your heel, and I would say that's pretty dang close. Wum, 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 wum. Woohoo! Now I just got to get rid of all this junk, do some wiring, some fine tuning, some dimple dyeing, some painting, some priming, some hey, one step at a time. I'll tell you what, certain aspects of this job have been completely overwhelming, and that's an understatement. But it's not so much that it's hard, I have a hard problem of focusing on one thing at one time. And I'll come out here to work and I'll start on this, then I go tinker on that for a little bit, and tinker on this for a little bit, tinker on that for a little bit, and then bam, the little bit of time I had to work just got wasted or ran through, and I only got a little bit accomplished because I had my hand dabbled in all this stuff. So what I've did recently is keep working on one thing until that one thing is finished, and even though it's small, it has added up. Mounting the steering wheel, running the braces in there and welding that, I still got to show that on camera. Modifying the gas pedal, getting it mounted. The emergency brake pedal over here. Only thing I have to do is position this release for it, and I didn't want to position that while I had to be reaching up under here welding all this, but that works, and the release for it works. Like I said, all I got to do is mount one bolt and that release will be up out of the way. So yeah, it's friggin' a lot of checks off the list. The list is still long, but it ain't as long as it used to be.
That's what she said.
Michael, please.
So let's just get right to the chase on how long it actually took me to get my truck started. The honest truth is I did the first startup on this truck several months back. Fired right up. I'm talking about first try. All right, ready? First start, boy. So yeah, fired right up, perfect. It was almost like I knew what I was doing. And then all of a sudden,
Woo, boy!
it dies. Try to start it up again, it dies. Try to start it up again, it dies. And by dies, I mean it fires up and then it shuts right back off. Now the computer that I had in my truck was the stock computer that came with the motor. I had it sent off and had the tuner basically put in what kind of motor I had, what cam, all that good stuff. And here's a big point here. He was supposed to disable the VATS, which is Vehicle Anti-Theft. So after many days of coming out here troubleshooting my grounds, my power wires, seeing if it was an error on my part, I finally said, this thing just seems like the VATS has not been deleted. Basically a short way of saying the computer thinks that it's stolen. So that took some time in between when I could work on it here and there. I'm trying to diagnose it. And finally, I just bit the bullet and ordered another flash computer. Brought it home, unbolted 2 bolts, plugged it in, and guess what? You guessed it. It fired right up. I'm talking about BAM! Now here's the moment we've all been waiting for, right? At least I have. I've been wanting to hear this thing run. I've been wanting to hear this thing chop. I've tried recording this 10 times. Basically, I was just excited wanting to hear this thing sit and idle and chop. And after the first real startup with the computer being fixed, it sat and chopped all up until it started backfiring. And yeah, I'm sure the people in my neighborhood thought there was a shooting going on my street because it was pow, pow.
Why is it backfiring like that?
Well, there's a few sensors that's not plugged in.
Progress.
So, did the first successful startup, is sitting there, it's idling, chopping, loping. Then I got to diagnose. I had to add O2 sensors. I didn't have any O2 sensors plugged up. I got a MAF sensor for it. Got that plugged in. I had 2 coil packs that were, I guess, intermittently, however you say that, 2 coil packs that were basically failing. So I got those swapped and was able to hear it sit and idle and chop. Sit and idle and chop for the first time with no backfires. I don't know if it was worth it to you guys. I took a 7-month hiatus, but hopefully hearing this thing sit and chop and idle, it makes it somewhat worth the wait. Here's a shot of the truck as it sits right now. You guys know that I focused a lot on wanting to make sure that that bottom of everything lined up good. And one thing I probably didn't include in the video is that I closed up the last of the back of the cab. I just need to fully weld it. You guys see me mounting the trans cooler. I also had to add a Corvette style fuel pressure regulator and a return line for the fuel cell. Personally, I think this thing looks sick. I almost don't even want to put a bed floor. I almost don't even want to put a bed floor on the back, just because to me that looks like race truck. I know I didn't set out to build a race truck, but this truck may evolve over the future. Now, so where does that put us? I showed you guys throughout the video of all the things that I've done. I showed you the back of the cab that I just closed up. Right now, I have a drive shaft on order, and I have the transmission shifter for the TH350 in my shop. Just received my upper and lower radiator hoses. So basically, to get this thing driving, I need to slap the drive shaft in. That's not going to take no time. I need to figure out mounting the shifter, and then I need to button up some of the wiring. But this thing runs, it idles. We get the cooling system buttoned up. Hopefully the next video, guys, hopefully you guys are going to see a video a lot sooner than 7 months like this one. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing an update on the truck. Yeah, and hopefully you guys don't hate me. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video and you're enjoying the truck build, smash the like button for me. Consider sharing the video with a friend. And Dusty Mac is out. I'm signing out. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace out. We'll see you in the next one.